So I am making a tank game, but in roguelike style. This devlog covers the first month of the development, and you probably won't see any mind-blowing visuals because I spent most of this month building the brain of the game inside a grey prototype environment. I basically took the game from this to this. It might look simple, but every programmer knows how much work is hidden behind this. Before we jump, I have a question. What's the longest time you have ever spent in your game to fix a single bug? I'm genuinely interested, so let me know in the comment. Now let's jump into the game. Like every game, the first thing I needed was a controllable player. Sounds simple, except somehow I managed to turn my tank into a helicopter. That was not my plan. After a bit of debugging, I finally got the controls feeling smooth. Once movement felt good, the next step of obvious. The next step was what the next obvious question was what's the point of driving around if you can't shoot anything. So I started with a basic by printing a simple debug message whenever the tank fired. Then I replaced that with actual projectile, and finally my tank could shoot real bullets. But shooting immediately revealed another problem. The enemy don't care. They just stood there getting hit like they were dummies. So I gave them health, damage, and the ability to actually die. The game finally started feeling little bit alive. After that, I taught my that tank how to detect the closest enemy in my game. Because it is fully automatic, the tank always targets the nearest enemy within the range. Behind the scene, I made this simple a little more efficient by using square magnitude instead of vector 3 distance. It's a small optimization, but when loads of enemies are searching every frame, every bit of performance help. If you are interested in seeing the more code of the game, let me know in the comment. I do happy to explain of the code behind this system. Next, come of one of my favorite mechanic of this game, the room system. Actually, the in my game the world is divided into different zones, and each zone has multiple levels. Each zone has multiple rooms, and once you enter in a room, the door lock behind you. The only way out is to defeat every single enemy or die. And if you do die, I don't let you walk away for free. You lose a random percentage of scrap. I can see in my game you have collected sometime only 20%, sometime as much as 60%. The same penalty applies if you try to give up midway. And after this, enemies were just standing still are not exactly the enemy. So it was finally time to give them some intelligence. First them how I taught them how to move around the level using Unity nav mesh. Then I built a more complex environment to test how they behave. That's when I discovered one of the most frustrating bugs of my entire month. My enemy was somehow choosing the narrow possible path instead of the obvious route. I spent hours so trying to figure out what is wrong with my setup. I even created a completely new Unity project because I thought I do somehow broken my setup. Nope, the same result. At that point, I stopped recording and spent the next few hours teaching my AI how to behave properly. And eventually, every and now the enemy can patrol, detect the players chase you and can attack. They also react as a group. If you shoot one enemy, the entire room goes into an alert state and start hunting you. But if you sneak into a room without being detected, they will ignore you until you make the first move. And the final system I worked on this month was also the most challenging. I wanted players to build completely unique tanks by mixing different body of the tanks and the weapon on top of that. Every individual part can be upgraded throughout. Aren't getting all of those systems to work together was a lot of challenging to me. And so instead of showing you my pain, I mean the code behind and the glitches and the bugs I face, I will show you the result. Feel free to watch it and don't say in the comment that looks very easy. I know exactly how much many hours I spent on this system and how many bugs I saw. So that's everything I managed to build during the first month. There is a still huge amount left to do before release, but for the first month, I think it's a good progress. The game actually feels like a game instead of just a collection of different scripts. I am planning to release a demo soon, so if you do like to play it, break it, and report bugs I could never imagine, make sure you subscribe. In the next devlog, I will be focusing much more on games, visual, and making this greybox world into a real game world. Until then, keep coding and keep killing the bugs.